Hi guys, so welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I really want to do sort of like a get to know me. How did I get on this journey of interior design? And then I also want to sort of bring you guys along with my process of how I make decisions, particularly with the living room. I want your guys' advice, your opinions, and so I want to bring you along more hand in hand in this journey, whereas some of like the other stuff that I've done have just been documenting more so like what I'm doing before I do it. And this time I want it to be a little more in real time. So that's what I plan to do. So I'm going to show you my mood board, and we're going to sort of walk through that, and I'm going to show you what I already have and sort of walk you through what my process is currently. As you know, the premise of most of my design is my budding design, and that means I'm budding, right? I'm not fully flourished as a designer. I'm still figuring out my style. I'm still figuring out what my aesthetic fully is. I have ideas of things that I like, but I'm still trying to nail that down. I know that I like color. I know that I like texture. I know that I like mixing prints and patterns. So very much maximalism is what it's giving these days. But it changes, right? And that that's what this process is about, is sort of like helping me sort of find myself in my design aesthetic through this journey with you all, while you're basically here kind of watching the journey with me, and support that you may have to offer, ideas. So that's that. So let's get into the get to know me sort of portion. I think over time you'll get to know me more, of course, but I just wanted to give you a brief overview of like, how did we get here? How am I, pivoting into interior design, and why, and yeah, what sort of brought us to this moment. Okay, so this is my first time. As you guys know, I'm new to YouTube. So this is my first time sort of like trying to multitask a bit, like sitting down. Usually I'm like doing stuff around the apartment, and that's a little easier to film than this. This type of filming is not easy for me. I'm a new mom, and I'll just be candid and frank about this. I've gained weight since I've been a new mom, and I'm still breastfeeding. So, bear with me, y'all. I don't like the way that I look on camera. My arms, it's just, I don't like it. I'm just being honest, but I'm still like, let's do this. Let's get into it. It just had to have an honesty moment there, because postpartum has not been easy, and I'm gonna be focusing on some weight loss soon, and trying to sort of like feel better about things. But anyway, going on a tangent. Anyway, we're here because you want to get to know me, and we're going to be designing the living room together. Okay, so first things first. So my backstory. So I have some notes here if you see me glancing down. So I'm from Detroit, Michigan originally. I've been in New York for, it'll be 8 years this summer. So long story short, I graduated from college in December of 2014. I stayed in my college town in Michigan, Western Michigan University. I stayed in my college town probably way longer than I should have, and was working there, just, kind of getting into some trouble. And so in November 2015, I made the decision after almost a year after I graduated to just move back to Detroit and stay with my mom for a bit and figure things out. So I get a job at Quicken Loans. I think the name's changing now, but I get a job at Quicken Loans as an HRIS intern. Because at that point I had decided that I was going to be pivoting into human resources. My degree was in business management, but I felt like HR was more of like the path for me from like a people perspective, and just being like a people partner and thought leader. So I get the internship at Quicken Loans, and living with my mom and my younger siblings, and it was going well. Things were going well. I had some really nice coworkers there. I would hang out with them sometimes, and Detroit was really in a place of like really developing into the city that it's always meant to be. And so that was sort of the start of it, I feel, about that 2015-16 area. So it was a really fun time to be working downtown Detroit and finding cool bars and stuff. I was about 20. What was I was about 23 at this time, 23. So it was fun. And then I turned 24 during that time and everything, but I still wasn't fulfilled. And like a lifelong dream of mine since high school has always been to move to New York and just live the city life. So because I wasn't so fulfilled in that position, and I just feel like I'm young, like I need to do more, and so I turned 24 in March of 2016, and I was like, I need to go. I need to just try out New York and make it work. And so, yeah, over the next couple months, I basically started planning to go to New York. And the rest is history. July 1st, I had a really good friend of mine drive with me to New York, and so grateful for her for doing that. And we drove July 1st, 2016. I had a friend staying in Harlem at that time, and so I stayed with her for a bit, and the rest is history. So from there, I came without a job to New York. So I had been applying extensively online. It just was not working before I came. And eventually I was like, am I going to let this job thing hold me back, or should I just go, take a leap on faith, trust God, and just see what happens? So yeah, that's basically, I was like, let's just see. So I know it was meant to be in a part of God's purpose, because as soon as I got here, I had some interviews lined up. I was not playing around. Like, I had my suit ready. I was trekking on the subway for the very first time ever in my life by myself with a suit on and some kitten heels, going to interviews, trying to like make something shake. And so I got an interview at a charter school in Harlem, and I got the job literally within like my first 2 to 3 weeks of being here. And so August 1st, 2016, I started working there as an HR associate, and that pretty much started my career. So I've had several different HR jobs, working my way up over the years. I was at a place for about 3 years, from 2020 to 2023. And then in 2023, I was ready for a change. I was ready to sort of get into like a creative space that was more aligned to what I wanted to do. So for me, fashion and design, stuff like that. So I got an opportunity to do that. And so I left my company that I had been with for 3 years, and I went over to this company in February of 2023. I'm not gonna name the company right now. And I was pregnant at this time. So I got the job when I was about 4 months pregnant with Soul. So yeah, February 2023. And I was really excited. I was nervous to be like starting a job pregnant and telling a job like that I'm pregnant and stuff like that. But it went well, and I started. And so I was in that job. I felt really great about the things that I was learning. I was an HR business partner in that role. And I just felt like, wow, I'm really meeting some creatives, and I'm really like working with people who work in interior design, and I was working with people who work in fashion, and I was like, this feels right. Fast forward to May 16, 2023, I was supposed to be going into work. And my boss at that time, really sweet person, she was like, hey, I want to have a meeting. Like, I know you usually come in a little later, so let's like meet on video. I get on the call, and boom, I'm getting laid off. And it sucked. It really sucked. I was 8 months, almost 9 months pregnant, and it was just like such a hard time for me. Like, it was already hard enough sort of having energy and being engaging when you start a new job, and I was pregnant for the first time. And I said overall, my pregnancy wasn't super difficult, but it was extremely draining. Like, when I'm saying I was so tired, I had no energy to do anything. And that was what I struggled with the most. I had bad nausea, and I was just extremely tired, and it was bad. So it was hard enough. Then I get laid off, and I had left a good job where the team liked me, like I was doing well at that role that I had left to come here. So to leave a job just to get laid off was just like horrible. Okay. I was just like, what the heck? So anyway, I'm laid off. And I had to figure out a plan, but I was 8 months pregnant, so I couldn't look for a new job because I was gonna be have to going out on leave in any day. Like I was almost 36 weeks, 37 weeks at that time, which is basically full term. So it could have been any day at that moment. And so it was just a hard time, guys. And so that happened. And then from there, I was just sort of focusing on the baby. And that's what I chose to do for the majority of the rest of 2023. Now, that is more like the personal side of things. The interior design part of things is pretty much that, I've always been interested in design. So as soon as I got to college and I was able to get a little refund check money and have some money to like decorate my dorm and my apartments, like I went all out. I had themes for all of them. Looking back on it, I wish I had taken more pictures of those rooms, but like I always had a theme. Always, every time I had a new room, it was like an opportunity for me to like explore just different vibes and just do really cool things. I always had like, lava lamps and just like cool stuff that I would do, really bright colors, and I just had fun with it, and so I always loved design. And when I moved to New York, it was no different. Every time I had a new apartment or something like that, like I would go all out designing it. A lot of Urban Outfitters, and just like I just had so much fun doing that, and I put a lot of time and thought into it. But at the end of the day, at that time, it was still, just something for fun. Then the pandemic happened, and it made me want to take a deeper look at what is important to me. Like, what do I want to be doing for the rest of my life? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like the pandemic, I think, did that for a lot of people. And so in 2021, Zach and I moved to a brownstone apartment. We got a great, crazy COVID deal. And I was like, this brownstone apartment is beautiful. I'm going to take the opportunity to start my design journey. So from there, I just started my budding design came from that. And I started my budding design. I started on Instagram and was sort of documenting the process of designing that apartment. So that's 2021. That I went strong for almost a year on that, but 2022 we had a lot of difficult life changes happening. And 2022 was just a really hard year for us. And then right at the end of 2022, I get pregnant. So I didn't really get to focus on my budding design in a way that I wanted to. So now back to me being unemployed with Soul. I'm at home with Soul, pretty much full time because I'm bonding with my baby. I should have been on leave. I should have been on a leave from work, but instead I'm like laid off and, kind of stuck in the wind, not knowing what my next move is going to be. And so I used some of that time before Soul was born to sort of get our guest room together, and redo our living room. And if you check out at My Budding Design on Instagram, you'll see I had like this red carpet. It was such a cool 70s vibe. Like I love that red rug, but the rug was just not good condition. So I let that go before we came here. But I redid everything. I was very much nesting and I had a lot of fun with that. So we had to leave our last apartment because it was being sold, the brownstone. And so, we had all of these things in the wind of like, we have to move. We were visiting family. I didn't have a job. I got this new baby. It was just like a lot going on. Such a stressful time. And within the midst of that, I'm like, I was having interviews for HR and like, it just was not going well, y'all. Like, I have always been a person normally who can get jobs like that. Like, and that was not happening for me this time. Like, I was having horrible luck, interview after interview, first round picks, not making it to second rounds. Like, I was doing really bad. And granted, obviously I'm postpartum, stressed out. I don't know. And I'm still, fast forward to today, I'm still in that moment. But I guess at the end of the year, I made a decision and I wanted to make a promise to myself. Like, I can't let these other companies and these other things like dictate my life and like, you know, my happiness. Like, I need to find other ways to fulfill myself that potentially I can make money from one day. And I was like, you know, my interior design, this has always been important to me. Like, I need to prioritize this because you only have one life to live. I turned 32 this year on March 20th. So I'm like, you know, this is the best time of any to make a career change. Like, you know, so I decided, you know, 2024, I'm doing it. I'm starting my YouTube channel. We gotta move. So this is the perfect blank slate of a canvas of an apartment. And I just have to really go for it. And I've always wanted to do YouTube. I'm like a person who watches YouTube religiously. All the interior designers, I follow them. You know, some of my favorites, Deeply Madly Modern, Lone Fox, the Sorry Girls, Alexandra Gator. Like, I watch all of the interior design girls. So I'm like, you know, this is my opportunity to try it. I have nothing to lose. I'm not working. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to afford it because I'm on unemployment, but you know, I wanted to go for it. So then I get this opportunity from the old job that I left in 2023 before the one I got laid off on, the one I was at for 3 years. I get opportunity from them. They needed some help. They needed some HR support, and I left on great terms there. So I started working temporarily with them for the month of January and February. And that was such a blessing too, because it allowed me to pay for things that I needed around the apartment. Otherwise, like, I would not have been able to afford half the stuff that I'm doing, like that wallpaper, that stuff, you know, stuff is not cheap. So it really helped me get a leg up in the design part of this apartment. And it was just truly a blessing. But that ended at the end of February. And I think once that ended, if you notice, I've been a little slower with my uploads. It's just been a little hard to just come to terms with like, okay, I don't have that income coming in. I'm still trying to buy stuff. So I've been struggling with that a bit, you guys. But, you know, I'm getting back into it and I'm ready to just go back full force again. So that's that. So over this last month, I've been doing stuff to really try to immerse myself in the interior design world. I'm in this parent group in Brooklyn, and they had a interior design architect meetup, and that was February 28th. So I went to that. I met some great connections, and they're having another meetup in April, which I'm gonna go to. But it was like a great kickstart for me to like think about what does a real career change from HR to interior design really look like for me. So I got some really good advice on, you know, schools, programs, stuff like that. And some of the designers I'm going to, one of them in particular, I want to reach out to her about maybe apprenticeship or mentorship in some way once I really get, you know, my feet planted and everything like that. So I got some great knowledge there. I went to this CB2 event that I actually vlogged just like last week that I'm gonna put a video on, but it was about the Black Collective at CB2. It was a panel discussion, and I've been looking into design programs at Parsons. So I have a bachelor's and a master's. I'm not going back to school full time, like in that type of capacity. I'm just done with that, honestly. It's too expensive. So I'm going to go, I think, to Parsons. They have an online interior design certification. And I think that's perfect for me to get the history of design and to really show a potential employer that I'm serious about this career change. Come in with some more knowledge, come in with a better understanding of using apps like AutoCAD and like all the tools that designers are using today. Get a full, you know, teaching of just how to do all that. So I'm planning to start that program at the end of May. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, guys, I'm just like immersing myself into interior design wholeheartedly. I'm still applying for HR jobs on the side, you know, because that is like my bread and butter at the moment. and I do need some income to keep this going and to pay for school and stuff like that. So yeah, and I mean, HR is still a part of me. Like, I still feel like if you can do HR, you can do anything, because the skills that you gain in strategy, people management, talent management, development is like applicable to any job, literally. Leadership skills. So yes. So that is what brings us to today. Let's see. That brings us to today. I'm looking at my notes. So the only other thing, my design aesthetic now. So my design aesthetic now, I'm going to pop on the screen a couple pictures of some designs that I've really been loving lately. Some designers that I've been loving. I would say one designer that is very inspirational to me is Jet. His name on Instagram, he's going to be one of the pictures, is Jet Design, Jet Projects. He does a lot of the Architectural Digest little shorts where they get like an imaginary room and redo it. Like, I love his work. And there's a couple other Black women that I've just recently found out about at the CB2 event, whose design is like amazing and like so where I want to be one day. So yeah, let me see if I could try to sum it up. I would say my style is right now maximalist. I like postmodern pieces. I like a lot of pattern, and I like my spaces to feel fun and warm and inviting. I would say when I did my brownstone for the first time, my aesthetic was I was going for the black and white, very neutral. I'll insert some more pictures here. I was going for that aesthetic, and that's really not me. I think I was really stuck in the idea of like like the CB2 vibe, the CB2 vibe of like black and white marble. I was really stuck on that. And like this last year when I redid my living room, I was like, and here's the new living room, posting some more pictures. The new living room that I did in my brownstone, I was like, this is me, like the pop of red, with the 70s vibe. It's just me. I love mid-century modern, 70s aesthetic. I would say like that's like the core of me, of me, is just that 70s vibe. Okay, like the sunken couches or the sunken pit living rooms. And I'm gonna post some more pictures of my inspiration for the living room here, but that's what I'm going for. Okay, so now that we have that out the way, I want to talk to you about my living room now. So the brown couch, girl, this was like a must for me. I'm gonna be having some more of my inspiration picks up right here right now, but the brown pitch couch was so 70s to me, and when I saw like the 70s vibe of the brown couch, I was like, I have to have this. So this is sort of the anchor piece of the room. And my color story, I'm really feeling the combination of like a turquoise, a red, and a pink. Okay. I just mentioned him, Darren Jet. I think that's his first name. Sorry if I get that messed up, but he has a room where he did, and it was like, mauve, pale pink walls, a turquoise couch, some rattan accents, like beautiful. So I would say that color story, and I had that on my color story, I think in one of my last videos where I showed you these exact pictures. This is the vibe that I would love to go for one day. I feel like I'm having a hard time figuring out how to make that vibe come alive on a budget. Because there's a lot of stuff that I like out there. It's a lot of stuff that I like out there that I cannot afford at the moment. So it's like, how do you find that aesthetic for cheaper? Because they don't make stuff like pieces like this for cheap. They just don't, not with the same quality and like high-end luxurious feel to it that his rooms have. And if anybody knows of any places where I can find stuff like that for cheap, please let me know. But like, you know, I'm not in a space to buy like a $2,000 chair. You know, I just can't do that right now. So this is sort of what I'm going for. So yeah, you kind of guys have seen like what I would like to see in this room, and what my vibe is currently. One other thing before we get into the mood boarding is I made a decision once we got the couch that I really wanted wallpaper in this room. And I've really been in love with Auto Studio. That's the wallpaper that is in the kitchen. And they have, let me look her up. They have this collection at Auto Studio. The wallpaper in the kitchen is from that exact same collection. I just want to get her name right. Her name is Uzo Njoku. So I'll just read this really quick. So Uzo Njoku is a Nigerian-born, New York-based versatile visual artist, well known for her mesmerizing motifs used in her pattern making for a vast array of products which she daringly creates. So she has some beautiful, beautiful wallpaper. Her collection with Auto Studio is like by far my favorite. So she has this one other one that we love, Zach and I. It's called Jamboree. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. So this is the wallpaper for the living room, y'all. I'll probably video me putting this up, but this is the wallpaper. I know some of you guys might say it's busy, which it is, and it's not for everybody, you know. Like my aesthetic of things being a little busy and maximalist, like that's just my vibe, you know. Like I like a lot of stuff, and you know, yeah. So this wallpaper is actually going to be the turquoise element of my color story, and we just love this wallpaper because it's just black, you know, it's historic, and it just nods to so many things and so many parts of our lives. Like the roller skaters, my family owns a roller skating rink. That is like a huge part of who I am. The church ladies with the hats, you know, it's just so much culture and history and black culture and vibes in this wallpaper. And that is something that me and Zach are big on, is like black culture and just blackety black, you know. So we want that to be a part of any space that we live in, and our living room will be no different, okay? And our apartment will be no different. And this removable wallpaper, yes, temporary, but while we live here for the next 2 years, it's gonna be a vibe and it's gonna be amazing. And then whenever we move somewhere else, then I'm gonna redo it again, and maybe something different, and that's gonna be a vibe too. Like I feel like making my space feel like me is so important to me, and just a part of my peace of mind and my happiness. Because it's in New York, you spend a lot of time at home too, just for the simple fact, like, this is my sanctuary. This is where I come to decompress from all the craziness out there, and it's going to represent me in every single way. Okay, so this is the wallpaper. So now I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So I'm going to try to screen record while I'm talking, y'all. This is new to me, okay? I don't really do this kind of stuff on, I mean, I'm new to YouTube, so I don't know what I'm doing all the way, but I'm going to try my best. So let's get into that.